Content provided in this presentation is for entertainment and informational purposes only, and does not constitute trading or investment advice, recommendation, or endorsement. Financial market trading carries a high level of risk and may not be suitable for all investors. You could lose more than your initial investment. Always conduct your own research and consult with a qualified financial advisor before making any trading or investment decisions. You are solely responsible for your trading actions and their outcomes.
And a very good morning and welcome to the stream. You've reached Sigma FX Trading Channel. I'm Scott Callaghan. Good to see you this morning. It's nice to have you with us today on Wednesday, the 17th of June 2026. Where does the time go? Yeah, it's halfway through June already. It doesn't seem that long since month end. Lots of news since the last time we caught up. Another, the 38th announcement of the deal being made in the US-Israeli attack on Iran. They have surrendered and it is looking like it all being resolved over time. There's lots of big demands on each side, but we'll see how that's going to affect the markets. The markets have already reacted, and as the title of our stream today, I've got to admit, I've only just got back into trading mode. I've been working for the last 6 days, well, not the weekend, but the last 4 trading days I've been working. So I've not traded since I last saw you 1 week ago, and yeah, there's a lot happened. The markets have reacted. Indices reaching all-time highs again. And as I say, I've not looked at the title till this morning. That title was made over a week ago. So it does still hold truth and still hold water in the warnings that are flashing for the cycles. You know, if you look at the buffet indicator, you know, it's over it's been over 232% or something, indicating that, you know, the value of all the companies compared to gross domestic product in the United States is well overbought. Would that be correct to say? You've got SpaceX, it's gone up, what, 50% on its IPO, on its initial public offering, and is it a pump and dump? It could be. We'll see. I've certainly not put any money in, but you know, speculate to accumulate. A little bit of a gamble when it's not really proven itself as yet, but it's future value. That's what it's all about, and the futures markets do judge just that. We'll have a look at some of the indices this morning as well, as that's what I've promised in the title, so I like to deliver, so I'm going to try. Let's have a look and see what's on the news for today. So, on Wednesday the 17th of June, what is the Forex economic news for today? What do we have on the high impact news? It is nothing. Good. I do like a news-free day. I don't intend to sit on the screens today. I'm really trying to work on some of my degenerative behaviours when it comes to trading. So I'm looking for the setup, looking for a set and forget setup trade that I can just confidently place and walk away from, so I can get some of the other things done in my life, because trading can suck you in, and I don't want that to happen to me today. I've got other things to do. Trading should deliver freedom, not being stuck as a relentless slave to the machine. We don't want that to happen, and if that's happening to you, then watch this channel, because we're trying to address some of these repetitive behaviors that keep coming up again and again, that maybe or do limit the path to success. So So no news on the. I'll just double check that's correct. So I've got it filtered to high impact news, and let's just tick all the currencies because yeah, there we go. You've got to double check these things, and it's a good job I did because there is high impact news today. Let's go back to the start. So today it is just after 7 a.m. London time, so we've just had the pound inflation rate year on year. Let's refresh that and see how it turned out. I'm guessing the inflation will be up, but we don't like to guess in trading. We like to work on analysis and probabilities so that we can work out the possible rhyme of what the future may hold. 7 o'clock, so it's forecast at 3.1% and delivered at 2.8%. So it's holding as of the previous month's year on year, year to date, I'm guessing, or year to whenever it was calculated. We're not guessing. We're not saying that word again. Just like I'm not saying probably either. Although I just did. Well, yeah, so under. So that's what's that going to do to the pound? So if inflation goes up, that means that interest rates may go up, which means that, but yeah, it's got lots of effects on the economy. Let's have a look and see what it says. Usual effect, a higher than expected trading range should be seen as positive for the pound. Yeah, so negative for the pound in this case, as it's lower than anticipated. So slightly bearish. Yeah, because if inflation year on year goes up, then we would expect interest rates to follow, which would mean that money going into pounds can potentially earn more and inflate, and in property or whatever you invest in the UK, it's likely to go up if inflation is up. So it makes it more attractive and therefore is bullish for the pound. In this case, it's looking bearish. We will pull up the pound dollar chart and have a look and see what, if any, effect that is having at the moment. A little spike to the downside from what I can see so far. That's an hourly chart. Yeah, so relatively voluminous candle, although it's right back where it started. Spike to the downside is predominant over the spike to the upside, but it's hovering around the middle as we're talking. Into this afternoon, be aware, 1:30 p.m. London time, we have United States dollar news, retail sales month on month, retail sales X cars and autos, month on month, and into later on it's FOMC economic projections. It is a Wednesday. Yeah, I know where I'll be at 7 o'clock on a Wednesday. It's tennis between 6 and 7, so I'll be at tennis, not playing. Still not got a functioning elbow to get back to my padel or tennis expertise, which I intend to fully master as well. That's on my things to master. Trading. Hablo español y padel, juego, playing the tennis. Is that right? Juego, playing? I think so. There we go. You know more than you do sometimes. El suena. Sueno. I dream, I think. Okay. I don't know what I'm talking about. 7 o'clock, yeah. So FOMC economic projections, federal funds rate, and Fed press conference. So will that be Kev Warsh? Is that the new guy? Is it him? Who knows? He's under a lot of pressure to deliver him on the reasons he was appointed. So but he doesn't seem to be a chaotic kind of guy. He seems to be have a fairly steady head on his shoulders. So he may not be getting into the politics of it and doing what's best for the economy, which you would hope, given that's his job. We'll see. So into tomorrow, anything overnight? Nothing overnight that's showing, and we will quickly finish off on seeing what Trump's been saying. I don't believe he'll have been saying much, as the obvious swing from doing the attacks on Iran for the Israelis, and they seem to be almost back to where they were several years ago in terms of Iran reiterating or just reaffirming its desire not to have or not to develop a nuclear weapon. So they're kind of back where they started, albeit potentially looking to invest $300 billion on war reparations for the invasion on Iran. Congratulations. Yeah, it's all just kind of domestic politics. There's definitely a pivot on away from warmongering to electioneering. Yeah, we'll not bore ourselves with all the domestic US politics. It's broken, isn't it? Iran has agreed to never have a nuclear weapon. There we go. I think they'd already brought that to the table the day before the attack, the first attack by the Israelis. Anyway, at least they're at a table as opposed to at the other end of guns. It's always good to not have to resort to killing innocent people to achieve your aims. Also, the story that US is paying Iran $300 million. Well, I think it's 300 billion DJT, not million. 300 millions would be a drop in the ocean to the damage that's been inflicted on the nation. Put out by the Democrats. Yeah, a couple of B's missing there. A B in billion and a B in Democrats. Sure, that's maybe his B's not working. Sadly, if you import people from the third world countries, you quickly become a third world country, and there's not a thing you can do about it. Make America great again, President Donald J. Trump. You know, third world's just a term for anyone that's not aligned with the Western powers. And unfortunately, that's almost everybody for Donald Trump. So it's a bit of a one-sided view on the world when you believe that you are the world. Trump makes a splash with Oval. I'm getting very political, haven't I? It's, do watch for all kinds of content on here. You will enjoy it. UN counts far more Hormuz ship transits than commercial tracking data shows. Yeah, good chance that's true. If anything, not much true on here, I'm afraid. Anyway, let's have a look. That's the truths of the day, the alleged truths. First squawk, what is happening? Is there anything that's just coming in live, hot off the press, steaming like a freshly created piece of news? G7 nations reiterate their stance against unilateral efforts to change status quo across the Taiwan Strait. Okay. G7 leaders agree to lower dependence on the Strait of Hormuz. Okay. Support for the US-Iran deal. Yeah, I think that'll be good for everyone in the world, just to get that done and dusted. Just everyone can claim victory and walk away and pay for their mistakes on both sides. And hopefully that's an end of it. G7 nations endorse a strong and immediate ceasefire in Lebanon. Yeah, we don't like to see full buildings destroyed, multiple people killed just to kill one target. Doesn't seem proportionate to me. Human life has got value. G7 nations pledge to intensify pressure on Russia's wartime economy. And a leader's statement. So we're back to Ukraine, Russia, and pressure on the Russian Federation to withdraw back to their own territory and putting pressure on them through sanctions. Iran fires drones at commercial ships in the Strait of Hormuz after peace deal. So that was within the last hour. Multiple drones fired in the direction of merchant ships. Yeah, it does look like US are just ploughing ahead with opening. And it's only a memorandum of understanding, so basically just an agreement to talk about stuff to make an agreement. So we're really just not too far forward, but it does seem to be holding a lot more water than the last announcements of ceasefires, and it does seem that the Vance has been put out as to carry the dairy, as I say, for the big concessions that the Americans are making to make it look like the surrender is not is more of a victory. Israeli drone strike in the town of Ansariya in southern Lebanon, so the attacks in Lebanon go on, which may get Iranian retaliation, although the Iranians do seem to be more likely to hold back for the sake of the bigger picture of peace. But it's likely we'll get some Israeli attempts to sabotage the deal, which is not good for the Israeli side. The deal is likely to be sabotaged by the Israelis and try and draw Iran back into something that will cause the Americans to withdraw from negotiations once again for the third, fourth, fifth time. So we'll see what happens, but I do expect some form of sabotage to occur as the way of these things. Russia imposed restrictions on 2 Moscow airports due to drones, so that still goes on. But yeah, petrol prices or gas prices, as you would say in America, have almost doubled in since the beginning of the attacks. That's one thing in the UK that has gone up, but because of our tax being so high already on petrol, the actual raw material cost is only a small portion of petrol prices, so we've not had as great an effect here, but certainly the US is susceptible to it when it's not as heavily taxed. It's all in the cost price, reflected at the pump price, whereas we are insulated here. So still going up, but we're not seeing it as bad as other countries, relatively speaking. Still going up by the same amount, but not percentage wise. Okay, China's central banks. Okay, yeah, we're now 3 hours into there's J.D. Vance. Trump holds all the cards after Iran nuclear strike. Vance declares victory. We accomplished what we set to do in Iran. All the cards are in Trump's hands now, says Vice President Vance. Yeah, it's all rhetoric. Iran's future economic relief hinges on compliance with the deal. So yeah, there's an investment fund afoot. It looks like they're funneling money through the Gulf states to basically compensate Iran for the damage caused in order to secure a ceasefire. China's vice premier vows to enhance supervision in the financial sector. More regulation, it's never good for growth. Elon Musk made more than 24 hours than Warren Buffett earned in a lifetime. There we go. That just that's some inequality, that statement just right there. So Warren Buffett, the guy who's widely lauded as the most successful investor of all time, over his lifetime, Elon Musk has just made more than in 24 hours. Yeah, with the must one day windfall tops Buffett's entire career fortune. How can things like that possibly be allowed to happen? It's unbelievable. But fair play to the guy. He's got everyone sucked into it, and he's making good on a lot of what he says he wants to do. You know, you can't be successful in everything you claim you're going to do, but if you don't take these moonshots, you're never going to achieve them, are you? So SpaceX options debut signals expensive and dangerous bets. Yeah, there's a collapse coming. I believe a collapse coming. It would be interesting to see, to look at how can it be worse? How can SpaceX X be worth more than Microsoft, the well-established global titan of tech. You know, it doesn't, when they've never turned a profit yet. Yeah, there's something not right there. There's certainly warning flags for me as well. Anyway, we'll have a look at the cycles on that. We'll go back to that shortly. Let's have a look at pound dollar, just as we mentioned that there. That's the news for today. If you're in the chat, do drop me a message. I can't see how many we've got viewing. Got one watching. That's probably me because I've got it on here. So welcome, Scott. In fact, there I am. I'm trying to wave at myself live, but of course I'm not live. I'm not live. It's slightly delayed as it goes out. So it's good to have you all here today. Oh, that was my cycles. Yeah, I'll come back to that. We'll have a look at the charts. That was gold. What's gold doing? Let's have a look. Let's have a look on. Is it this one? I think it's that one. Yeah. We'll have a look at the charts. We will have a look at the charts. So that was pound dollar, as I said. Let's see what pound dollar's doing. If you would like anything looked at, please do drop into the comments and let me know what you're thinking. It's always good to get a second opinion, and we can see what is going on here. Okay, so we discovered the other day that central pivot range is better looked at when you're looking at the range. So we've got the actual pivot line, which is the average of the previous daily high, previous daily low, and the previous daily candle close. You've then got the bottom line. Now, can't remember the calculation, but basically the bottom line is directed by something about, then the top line is basically just equal but opposite to that. So are we going down? We're probably going down because we've had negative news for the pound this morning. But what are the indicators telling us? Well, I had a drop lower yesterday on the last daily. Sorry, right. We had a drop yesterday in the last hourly candle, or earlier, sorry, in the last hourly candle. Since the open, we've basically been in a range above the central pivot, which has given us a kind of bullish signal, but the news has driven us lower. If we look at the volley, we've been out the top of the volley here, top of the volley here. Nice, almost like a double top here, and just pushing us back down. Currently bouncing off the 20 moving average on the volley just before the news, and then it's crashed through it. We've almost had I think we've had even a gap there just on that news. There's maybe a tiny gap there. Maybe. I'll have a look in the lower time frames in a minute. Spiked through the bottom of the volley here. We are still sausaging. It's certainly not looking like it's driving in a certain direction. Or is it? Let's have a look in the 5. Well, yeah, it's getting a little bit of a drive down there. We're back into the central pivot range here. So we're really wanting to get to make some sort of decision out of here. We spiked lower there. Let's just focus on what it's doing in the big picture first. Okay, so last week's candle was green. We're just kind of meandering along in a kind of a big range of 725 pips or 770 pips, maybe a bit more. We've never quite made it out the bottom of the volley here. It's come back, retested the 20. It's bouncing off the bottom of the 20 now. It's looking down, I've got to say. Looking down, but in a range. It's certainly down on the MACD looking at that. But we're getting some consolidation here, so not much power left in the down move. Starting to get less in the histogram here. The lines are coming together. Starting to want to go back up, and the RSI is showing us our relative strength is to the downside, but it's heading back up to retest the 50 on the RSI. So we're just kind of stuck in a little bit of no man's land here in terms of strength and momentum. But it's looking slightly down, but it's also heading. It's heading down, but it's stopping. It's not moving really on the monthly. So kind of down, but not really. I would say kind of neutral probably. That was the weekly, sorry. Daily, big move to the downside here. It's come back to test the 20 moving average, back down again, back at close on the bottom. Back to test the moving average again. It's kind of holding under it. It's tried to spike through, but it's not quite made it. It's held on the line, and then it's currently on today, just taking that bounce lower. So it's wanting to go lower, but it's on its way up, so it could still push through. MACD is telling us up, but holding on that 20 moving average. RSI is telling us up, so but it's heading back for a retest on the 50, so it's heading up, but it's stalled as well. This seems to be the story of all my analysis as an LSI, is that yeah, it's heading up, but it's stalling, not really moving. It's this time in the morning, you see. It's this time in the morning. Traders are not out, it's not making up its mind. H4. What does that tell us on the pound dollar? Again, we're getting kind of mixed signals here. It's up. It's holding. It's wanting to go up again, but it's strongly down on certainly the last 4 hours. There's that candle, just a fresh one at 6 AM. So that's our 6 AM candle in UK time. Yeah, it's back bouncing off this central pivot. So will it turn and continue up? The news is saying no. It's possible though. Let's see what our indicators are telling us. I would say it's kind of neutral in the volley until it decides whether to break through and hold below in the 20, or whether it bounces and continues up. Our volley bands, upper band and lower band, are kind of just flatlining slightly to the upside. There is a general trend to the upside, so it's looking kind of uppish if you're taking the volley into it, but kind of neutral because it's in the middle. So neutral. MACD is just kind of crossing about there over the last 8 hours. It's kind of turning to the downside at the moment. It's gone to the downside on the RSI, so we're kind of, I'm getting down and neutral, I suppose. So yeah, it's looking more down than up, but nothing of strength. It's not really moving with any great conviction. I wouldn't be too interested in taking a trade when it's just slowly showing its hand like this. Don't think it's quite ready. What are the lower time frames telling us? Well, we've looked at the hour as well already. So it is down. Yeah, so we're getting more down. So we're lining up with the H4. So yeah, I'd be happy-ish to take a trade to the downside based on this. We've got a strong strength against the dollar here, where we're getting this down move, but Do we have momentum? Not really. There's not much momentum yet. But the change in strength is there. You've got a change in strength. You've got a weak pound and you've got a strong dollar. So you're getting, that's what's getting us this move. But there's not much. There's not any momentum in the move. So it's not looking like it's ready yet, even on this one to the downside. So we're kind of talking ourselves into some shorts here as we get here. And certainly if it holds below this central pivot range, we've got, you know, you get a whole, if you get a close on here and we start to get the Bolly band beginning to flare, we might get a run down the bottom Bolly down to S1 and the support here, maybe 15 pips to 20 pips, depending if it retraces and then gets a little bit, as it's pushed below this low. So we've had a break of structure, so would that be like a break and then a retest and then a, what was that, a drop, base drop? Depends what way you want to call it, but yeah, you've got your momentum, but you've also got, sorry, you've got your strength moved down, not with momentum, so that might come after it gets its kind of bounce back again and then bounce down. So ideally we're maybe looking for it to kind of come back into here. There, but it might not necessarily do that. That would be the potential trade that we're kind of convincing ourselves of here, or setting up for. Certainly is down just now, and there it is just as we're speaking, going on to that, a touch on the Bolly, and as we're coming up for 7:30. Having a look at the 30-minute chart. The 30-minute chart is already kind of doing exactly what I'd be looking for it to do in the hour. Get that kind of, that flare is well obvious there. We're getting nice strength and momentum to the downside as we go to the lower time frames. Is it ready to bounce higher again? Well, that's our low. We've got these lows here to contend with. We've got a imbalance in the price here created by this drive previously. That's right on our S1, so that's our target, isn't it? But in the meantime, it's right outside. We've got like an island of a candle here in terms of being outside the Bolly on the 30 minutes. Will it want to come back into here where this imbalance is created here first before it continues lower? We just don't know. So I suppose if you were confident you're getting that momentum to the downside, you could get in here for a nice 15 pips potentially, maybe a bit close, maybe 12 pips from here, and if it goes back into here, nice 20 pips. So you could, a 32 pip combo, 12 and 20. If we got in, is it going to break lower than the previous candle here, or are we going to get, it looks like it's going to. Let's have a look what the 15 minutes telling us. Yeah, we're certainly getting down. We're already into the oversold on the RSI, so we need to be cautious that it's not going to take a reversal here now that we're on the lower time frames. It's certainly looking very strong down. We've kind of almost missed the move looking at the 15. But it can continue down when it's in oversold. So we're certainly, that's a nice, look at that lovely flare on the Bolly there. It's having the confidence to just get in. Talking 12 pips. I think that's where it's going. It's got these lower, it's got these lows. Now we're talking ourselves. Yeah, it's just broken lower there. So let's get in for 12 pips. What's my position size for that? We'll get in quickly because it is moving quickly. It'll be a negative risk to reward. So we'll try for 12 pips into there. And if it does retrace, we'll get back in again. But I might take it just up to 10 pips, or down to 10 pips, just to be a little bit less greedy. It's not a big price move here. This is going to be the issue, getting past this low. This might be where we get our bounce higher, so we'll consider what's going to happen here, whether to just get out for 5 pips at that point and then look for the retrace. Where would be our entry point if it does decide to bounce at this point? Probably this imbalance here. Could get in again here, and then if it starts to get, if it's going again for these highs and breaks past that, then we'd probably be looking to get out before it hits our, well, that would be 12 pips there and 22 pips there. So we'll go for 22 pips on, if it comes back. And this would be our, yeah, getting somewhere over. If it comes back past that, that's where I'd be thinking, all right, okay, what's happening? Let's get out. So at the moment we've only got one trade on. It's 12 pips targeting, and if we're wrong, we're not quite. We're negative risk to reward. Looking at that, there's potential to see what it does once it gets to this target. I wouldn't target the ADR low in S2 at the moment. Remember, we do have US news again in this afternoon, so let's just wait and see what gets done to here. Let's not be greedy and go for the big targets. Let's just see. Now this is likely the point it turns. We're not quite getting any cross here on the MACD. We're well into overbought on the M5, but it's not showing signs of reversing yet. It's still got momentum and strength to the downside. So I think we're more than likely to get our 12 pips, and then I would just cancel the other trade there. So we'll put on a wee alert here just to remind me when that does occur that I need to cancel the other order. I did have an indicator, or an EA, that you could say once it reaches a certain price it cancels all orders, but it's I've not got it set up on this chart. Right, are we trailing? Let's just do a trail. Let's just do a trail out of an abundance of caution. Get very cautious in my old age. If it does get to 6 pips, we'll just stick the stop and break even. We've got a spread of 3 points, so that gives us 5 points. So that covers our spread and slippage, just about. So if it does come down to here first, just prior to these lows that we were talking about, or if it reaches, yeah, if it touches that low, then we'll pull the stop to break even. So we're tight and we're cautious. It's just a little bit of, don't like trading live on stream as I'm not fully in concentration mode. Let's see what it does. No, it's already gone against us. That's as we expected it might. So it might come back. If it gets a second order, all the better. We'll get a better price. But if it's back up towards these highs, then it's like, well, yeah, I'm not happy any longer. It's really going against what it's currently doing if it gets up there. And as I say, we'll look to consider getting out if it gets back here and starts to look like it's turning to the upside. We'll see if there's any opportunities to get out at the best price, and if not, we'll just kill it. Okay, we did promise some sort of look at the indices, so that was the title today. So let's just go and have a look at that. We'll go back in the window share. There'll be a little bit of messing around here while I get the tickers. So what we want to look at first, probably the S&P 500. I'm not sure. Is that SPX? It's been a while since I've looked at S&P 500. That'll be. Was up SPX? Oh, is that SpaceX? That's SpaceX, is it? No, SPCX. Where's the S&P 500? Let's have a look. Because we could go with the futures one if that's what's there. We've got the ES Mini, S&P 500. It's the same chart, so we could look at that. ES. Yeah, we'll go for that. ES equals F. Okay. Just bear with me whilst I go into the Cycles app. Okay. So ES, what was it? ESF. ES equals F. So ES equals F, and it's via Yahoo Finance as our source. Okay, there's our S&P 500. That's the minis, so the prices might not reflect the actual. That does look like the current prices on the S&P 500. Let's have a look and see what the predominant cycles are. Now, I still have not had the update for the intelligence-based self-selection of what the most relevant cycles are, but we can see from here we've got some lovely obvious cycle peaks. These are all the different cycles that can be detected in the price movement of the S&P 500. You know, the world moves in cycles, so humans are working cycles. You know, everything's a cycle. The sun, the earth, the moon, the tides, the waves, nature, everything's interrelated to that, and that then shows itself in things like markets as well. You know, the seasons, election cycles, war cycles, they all combine to form the price movement that we see. So we can see big obvious ones here that should show themselves as the most predominant and stable and strong, with amplitude and nice head and shoulders, with forming more of a peak rather than a big slopey summit like that with one side which is not quite finished. So these would be the ones that we would sort of select as our nicest cycles. And as we can see, we've got that is the top three in terms of stability. We've got positive numbers here, or over the 0.5 in the stability. We've got a fourth one here, the 385. That's that one there. You could add in. That's your is that, sorry, 335. So that's your, well, it's a yearly cycle roughly, isn't it? Because it's not, they're not precise, but you know, that's your annual cycle there. If you add that in, it'll smooth it out a little bit, but we'll keep that one out a bit just now. I'm liking these ones. Now, are they harmonics of each other? Got a 200-day cycle, got a 125, and you've got an 80. So they're not really harmonics of each other, you know, they're not like divisible. Really, are they? No. So, let's see, let's have a look. So what we can see or what we can look at is this does this cycle hold water? You know, that's going back to 2012, maybe, no, 2015. We can go back further. You can go back as far as you want. That's just what it's set at the moment. So we could let's have a look and change our dates to where's my date? It's been a while since I've used this, you see, so I'm not au fait with the. Is this what I used to? Range, there we go. So we could go back as max. We could go back or 200 bars, whatever. So 200 bars, and that'll be a daily. I'm going to go back further than that. Let's go back max and see what it does. Well, yeah, there's a ground. Way back, you know. We're back to 2001, so 15 years there. Right, we'll keep it at that, and we'll see, has that changed anything? Well, not really. Oh no, well, is that selected though? It kind of darkens down from here. So why is this light and why is this dark? Is it not in the range? Because our cycles have not changed, so it suggests that our range is not changed. I can't remember how to do this. Do we have settings up here? Scanner. Well, it's looking back 850 at the moment. Let's see if that increases it. Yeah, that's increasing it. So that's the bars. Yeah, so it's looking back fully now by the looks of it. Okay. Right, did that change our... But do you want to look back that far? Markets change over time. Maybe the last 5 years are more relevant period to look at than the last 20, 25. It's not really changed it by too much. Shortened that one. That one's the same. Stability is still good, so it's, well, it just shows you that it's now holding water over 25 years as opposed to just 5. Right. So are the bottoms and the tops being reflected by what the cycles are telling us? And this line here just represents these 3 cycles as they interact with each other, and the lows and the highs and the super highs are when they're all in alignment. As we can see, they're all kind of ready to go into a downturn here, with the 78 just catching up into that downturn as it gets to, well, there. Well, there, sorry, yeah, they're all in a downtrend there. Right, where are we? Let's have a look at the current time. So is it holding water? Yeah, I mean, there's a low, and a low lining up, timing-wise. That high on that uptrend is lining up with that. That high is lining up with that. Again, the amplitude of the signal line, if you like, is, or the cycle line, doesn't necessarily reflect the strength of the move on the price line, I believe. We're getting down into the downtrend here. Strongly goes down during this uptrend, and as you can see, we've got a low here on the amplitude of the cycle line. However, we're still in an uptrend, so it's not really reflecting. It's just it's gone into a range, kind of, I suppose, here. It's not really got much further from here as it got to here, so it does show that what is represented as a down move on the cycle, when in an uptrend, can manifest itself more as a consolidation. We did get a spike down here, but it's consolidated, but it then continued its uptrend. And our high we achieved a high and then we got a higher high, but then a little late into what the cycle prediction was telling us, it's also made its down move here, but we can see it's the higher high was maybe a signal of when this was represented as a predictive move down, was maybe the signal that, yeah, okay, we're now ready to move down, and it certainly did. It took a spike down here. This was tariff time. So are all these announcements and world proclamations of tariffs on every country that the US made around this time? We already knew there was going to be a severe down cycle, so is it, what comes first, the chicken or the egg? That's the question. Right, as the chart moves along here, we saw that it was likely to go into an up move after that, and it did. But what we see now, just as we saw on this, where were we? On this move, after this high and then the higher high and then the down move, we're at the top of the cycle now. We're past it, but we're heading for higher highs again. So again, we're still in an up move. Are we always likely to be in an up move on an index? Well, yes, but do we get these drops? Yes. Well, there's 25. Where's COVID? There's COVID. I mean, even COVID, well, the cycle fit is obviously to fit that, what happened on the chart there. So it's, but that chart's, it's a 25-year cycle, and it's still, but that price is within that period, reference period. So these big moves do affect what the overall cycle is predicting. Anyway, we're looking at this here, but we're already into a consistent period of a down move here, all the way through to the end of, or the beginning of October, and we're just reaching a second. Well, we've got a higher high after the cycle prediction top. We're heading in the direction of a higher high again, but that is showing us we're right into the down cycle. So be caution would be the name of the game, but until the music stops, it's still going up in terms of price action, from what we can see, until the record's changed and it changes to a different tune. We just need to be aware that it's about to do that, going by the cycle predictive analysis there. What's it done before? I mean, that's a downward cycle with no relief until we get to October. Then we're back up till the end of the year probably. Yeah, we're into, yep, just into the Santa Claus rally. There's a is it Santa Claus rally or Santa rally here? Anyway, that's looking, I mean, the last time I had that, you know, it's not much reaction there on that big down. We got a reaction here when this moved down. It certainly dropped by a bit. I think we could possibly see the same here. Again, this one, yeah, there's definitely down moves occur, and when you look at these drops, and as it seems to be more significant when they've got to the higher highs. So S&P 500 is topping out there. Let's have a look and see what the other indices are telling us. Sorry, back onto Yahoo Finance. Sorry, I'm not great. I don't trade indices, so I'm not good at looking at them in particular. Let's have a look at the Dow Jones. Dow Jones. Let's type it out. Dow Jones, Dow Jones, Dow Jones. There's the mini Dow Jones. Dow Jones Industrial Average. Now, is it that one? Let's Yahoo Finance. Will be Wall Street. Yeah, we'll go for DJI. It was DJI. Okay. Right, back to the cycles. Yeah, so it's the DJI. Let's see if that works. Right, there's our Dow Jones. Let's get our cycles on quickly. How's our... Let's get the bars changed again on this one. Let's get our 3 most stable cycles. Well, that's a harmonic of that, roughly. Not liking the 380. So we'll pick the 75. It's quite a prominent peak in it here. Is that it? Or is that a 75? Is that a 75? Heck, that's not a very stable cycle there. It says it's stable. I prefer the 80, to be honest. These ones are looking the best, I suppose. But we'll go with what the cycle scanner's telling us in terms of stability. Now, a little bit of subjectivity here. Right, we'll go with these. We'll go with these. Okay. So we're still into the Dow Jones is still showing us as into an up move here. As we can see, we had the peak here and it dropped off just in January 26th, and it did. It's dropped down, and then it's into an up move. So, but we're approaching a peak towards the end of July. So there's still potential for upside move on the Dow Jones, but it'll be going into a down cycle here again to the same period, a little bit later, but into the same period as the S&P was showing us. So reaching a peak, it's on its way, and the timing can be, it's more of a window rather than timing. We'll just have a quick look at the NASDAQ. I'm just looking up the symbol ticker. So the NASDAQ Composite Index, so it'll be IXIC, is that correct? If anyone knows more about indices than me, which won't be hard, do let me know. So what did I say? IXIC. Right, there's our NASDAQ, I believe. Let's look at our bars, get our bars on the max. Let's get our similar, as we can see, similar cycle lengths to the S&P, the pretty close to what the S&P was telling us, so we would expect to see alignment there, and as we can see, we're Nasdaq is at has had a all-time high. It's not reaching its all-time high again. That was June 26th. So I thought somebody mentioned all-time highs. Maybe it's just for individual. S&P was, but we're into a down move here, and when's it going to end? Well, towards the end of November, and we'll get our Santa rally up towards the end of the year. So yeah, so that's 3 out of 3 are all just approaching that. Not quite on the Dow. The Dow had a little bit to go. Potentially we've got another 6 weeks window for the Dow to reach its peak, but after that point they're all into the down cycle move on all cycles, on all the predominant cycles, taking us down into October. So that's 8 AM, guys. I'm going to switch over to the Apex Brotherhood Discord channel now, so appreciated you joining me this morning. If you're interested in joining the Apex Brotherhood, do join. The link is in the description. It's a great place to be for successful traders, to become successful traders and successful people all round in all aspects of life. Do look at it. I will be back in an hour. I'll give you an update on the pound-dollar trade, which is currently sitting $26 and $30 in drawdown. We are expecting that potentially to relax a bit there and go down to our target. We'll monitor that, and we'll get you an update in an hour. Thanks for joining me this morning. Appreciated. I will be back, and good to see you this morning. Cheers, guys. Peace out.